Welcome to the Johnny Dell Football Academy podcast on the channel that's trying to answer the whys and hows of the game by talking through and dissecting game film and diving deeper to explain why the X's zig and the O's zag. I am Adam Marino, joined by Mr. Johnny Dell, and we are reminding you, as always, the most fun way to watch is on YouTube, where we go live. There you can comment into the live show. Be sure to hit the notification bell and turn on your notifications so you can be a part of the conversation. We also stream live on Facebook and X. Also, the audio versions are always found on Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts. Now, if you are live with us in the chat, it's probably because you are subscribed, you've hit the notification bell, and turned those notifications on. So, when sharing with your friends, be sure to let them know. We also love to hear from you outside of our live show. Email us at johnnydellsfootballacademy@gmail.com, and you can always check out the website jfa49.com, as it is the most fun way to support the channel. Also, the way we boost the chat and boost the algorithm is to type out hashtag hashtag JD49. Many of you have already done so, and we, contrary to popular belief, unlike what the chat says, we are not going to Disneyland. I don't know. I didn't know what else to say. Like, everyone was so hype. I'm like, we're going to Disneyland. I didn't know, really. It just like typed out of me.
You can't say things like that, Adam, because that doesn't come across in text. It just makes it sound like we're going live from Disneyland, which is not true.
That's why I had to come and tell the good people, the good faithful, that is not.
He had to publish a retraction, everybody. Fake news, fake news alert.
Fake news, but it's all good. It is a Friday. It is April 4th, which means we are just in time for another episode, a juicy one. We are really hype. We're trying to get the chat hype because this is really, really going to be an example of Johnny Dell in his full Johnny Dell. And so this is why I am a fan.
In the full Johnny Dell.
Yeah, a Johnny Dell. This is why I am a fan. You guys know the story by now that I reached out to him to start a podcast because I was simply a fan of the channel. All my family is. We watch all the breakdowns and stuff that he does in season, and we are ready to go. As Quiffle Ball,
not committed. Not committed.
Now it's a thing. It's a thing. Well, I'll be honest. No. We need some super chats coming in for that. Is that my humble ask? I'm kidding. I'm completely kidding.
It's got to be Watcher Finance stuff live from Epcot.
Yeah, exactly. But I will say this is going to be one of those shows that you want to make sure that you share with other Niner fans if they have not checked out this channel. This is the reason.
Gosh, we better not face plant on this show.
No, you will not.
So much.
You shall not.
Plant. Oh my god.
You shall not.
Now I'm nervous.
Okay, first I want to ask real quick because I am curious.
Let's get into this. Yeah,
yes,
I did. I watched it live. I have reached out to Femi myself. He has not even left me on red. So I was hoping. Of course, he said in his interview with Brad, I probably reached out late. That he's very busy over the next few weeks. Got a lot of visits with different teams lined up. If you really want to understand why, one of the reasons, I won't say the reason, but one of the biggest reasons why guys like myself, Brad, Steph, Wayne, Larry Kruger's high on him, why we are so high on Femi Oladejo is go watch Brad's interview with him. It's at the SF Niners. If you're aware of my channel and not aware of his, I don't know where you've been, but go check that out because that same everything, the energy and humbleness but also hunger and confidence oozed out of the Senior Bowl. Again, I only caught about a minute and 20-second clip with him, but I was able to get about 5 minutes with him on the field. And in just 5 minutes, you could get that. You got all of everything you saw in his interview with Brad. And this kid screams maturity, hunger, everything you need for the next level to continue to ascend. A lot of times players, and I put this on X because people will say, I'd say I have issues with this guy or that guy because of technique, and they would say, oh man, we got Wayne Breezy in the chat. Look at that. We didn't have Wayne on. Remind me, Brad. Wayne, text me. I need to have you on. But we I'm totally derailed, but I said something about coaches, and it was about developing players. And somebody was like, that's what coaches are for. And I said, no, actually, coaches have very little time to develop players on the field because they get a short off season, and it's even shorter now. And the league is trying to push it to be even shorter, probably by another 2 to 3 weeks if they add another game. And one more game equals 2 to 3 to 4 weeks shorter, which is almost a month of off season, because you're going to have to add a second bye week in there. So that's, you add an 18th game. So that's 2 weeks right there. You're probably going to have players that if they're being asked to do that, now you need to take another week or two added to their off season. And so we'll get to Cornelius's, I'm going to star that. So we'll get to Cornelius's comment there. But that means a shorter off season. And so the off season is really the only time that some coaches can even work with players. And by the NFLPA, they are limited in how much actual work a player can even volunteer to show up in March to the team facility, and they will be not allowed to work with coaches because of the NFLPA, that they can't, that the NFLPA, it's supposed to be like a safeguarding so that players don't feel pressured too much into doing this, and it becomes a de facto, they have to show up. But they're actually not allowed to have player-coach interaction from a coaching perspective. They can talk about normal day life and stuff. A lot of times they'll be like, well, hey, you should look at this guy's pass rush moves. They could be really cool. It can be things like that, but they can't actually get out on the field and work with these guys. And then, and then when you get to the season, it's going to be all about opponent prep. And there's a ton that goes into opponent prep. They get Wednesday through Saturday. That's it to work with players. Players have usually come in. They'll review the previous game's film with their coaches that morning. And then the coaches go and they go watch their own film to prepare for their opponent. They start doing that Monday afternoon. They meet as coaches Monday night. Then they come in Tuesday, work all day Tuesday on their weekly preparation of game plan. That's going to be situational. That's going to be area specific. That's going to be down specific. That's going to be opponent matchups, and for each one of their players. So they come in Wednesday and they start installing first down between the 20s, and they do that. They have to install that. Then they got to go practice that out on the field. Then they go back in and they watch the practice tape, their own practice, to see, okay, this is what we had talked about. This is what we didn't do. So here's what we got to highlight. And then the next day they move on to second and third down, third and short, pass rush situations, pressure pass. And Friday they do the same thing. It's going to be red zone, gold zone. They're going to have all these different situations that they do this, that they have to install the game plan, go practice the game plan, then review the practice film of the game plan. And then the coaches go and they have to meet more themselves, again, with the defensive coordinator and all that stuff. So like, there's so much that goes on during the week. Coaches are not able to go out on the field and spend 2 hours with a guy to say, let's work on your bull rush, the footsteps on your bull rush, and train and change that in season. Like, it doesn't happen. And that's 5-6 months of the year. So when it comes to player development, this is what I'm coming around to say. It all comes down to, does that player have the personality, the drive, the hunger to invest their own money by hiring a guru, a coach, whatever you want to call them, a personal trainer, to, one, improve their fitness, two, improve their technique, and change their muscle memory. That's why, how much a player is willing to put in themselves now is so much more important than it used to be 30 years ago. And so when you look at a guy like Femi Oladejo, that screams out of the interviews with you, is somebody who's committed to that. That doesn't mean that it's that alone, but that there is a huge A+, because we've all seen guys who get to the NFL, they start saying, hey, I've had a really good freshman year or rookie year, and then they have that sophomore slump because they think they've arrived, and the hunger isn't there as much. Aaron Banks was a guy that even Chris Forster talked about last season that had been struggling with his weight. How much commitment is there from you to be as good as you can be in every facet of your life? That is so much more on the players now than it used to be. They used to have guys that could keep people accountable. It just doesn't work that way anymore. And the off seasons don't count as much. So that's why, again, another reason, super high on Femi. And we're going to look at some of his tape and hopefully answer some of the question marks that people have about, production in college.
Yeah, that's why we were kind of excited. Definitely want to thank Cornelius for his super chat. Was something stronger in my cup Kyle's cup? Was he simply blowing smoke about Jake Brendel? Yeah, I did. I found that odd too. This was during the owners meeting. There's no way he was serious.
Kyle's also been effusive of several players. He said a lot of really great things about Jimmy Garoppolo and tried to trade for his replacement twice, and then ended up drafting Trey Lance to be his replacement. So, Kyle, I think somebody can be a quality player, but also can still think they can get better. So I think that's one. Two, he very much ascribes by the formula of we're not going to be the ones to say anything negative about our own players. We're only ever gonna build up, because there's nothing positive that comes from talking down or down talking your players. There's only positive things that can come from really building your players up. Like, for example, if on draft day they got a trade offer of a 6th rounder for Jake Brendel, Kyle Shanahan might pull that, and talking him up, saying how much you really like him. If somebody calls and says, we'll offer you a 7th, and he asks for a 6th, and they say, well, we know you don't like him. We know that you think you can do a lot better. Then you've lost the bargain. So they will always build up the value of their own players, and will go out of their way to do that. They tend to, that is just 49ers HQ, modus operandi. On the other side, I think everybody knows how I feel about Jake Brendel. I think the 49ers can do a lot better. Now, full disclosure, I also don't watch every single center in the league. So I can't tell you exactly where Jake Brendel ranks among starting. I've had people ask me that. Where would you rank Jake Brendel? I'm like, I can't really speak to about 16 centers that I haven't watched in the league. And so, in my opinion, at best, he can't be better than 12th or 13th in the league, which means there's still a good bit of room for improvement. The one thing that I will say Jake Brendel's got going for him is he's a tough dude. I mean, he hasn't missed a game in a long time. So he's been very durable. And that was one of the issues of Weston Richburg. Weston Richburg was a phenomenal center, but lost his ability to be available. Alex Mack was a great center, but his age, that availability was just not there anymore. So, what Jake Brendel has going for him is that he's available. And, looking at, if we go back to the 2020 season, there was some worse center play than Jake Brendel on the 49ers. So I think Kyle's also going to look at that. I do think that they're going to try and upgrade interior offensive line. I think there's no doubt about that. I think there is going to be a competition there this offseason. I think everything other than, Brock Purdy, George Kittle, Fred Warner, Nick Bosa, Trent Williams, and Diamador Lenore. I think every position outside of those guys is up for grabs. I really do. I think, and maybe Dominic Pooney. I think Pooney's pretty well established himself.
Yeah.
But I think, and Kyle Juszczyk, I'll say Kyle Juszczyk, and Christian McCaffrey. Okay, maybe a few more.
And the nacho guy.
But I really do think everything else is going to be up for grabs.
Yeah. Well, I think, again, this is why we're excited about the offseason. We trust in John Lynch, like we mentioned earlier, and we're just going to have to wait and see. We'll find out at Lambeau Field. That's weird. They're having the draft there in such a small neighborhood. It's going to be weird. Hey,
great for the cheeseheads, man. The people are, they better not run out of cheese. I mean, they better be stocking up. We are 20 days away. Yeah. 20 days away from the draft. And, that's it. I'll say Strawberry. I'm not even convinced that Mustafa and Green are guaranteed a starting spot right now, because not against their play, but they want them to stay hungry. And this is, if anything we're seeing this offseason, is anybody, almost anybody, except for the names I've listed, is potentially replaceable. They're not going to let anybody relax on this. So they're going to keep the fire behind everybody.
Yeah. Okay, so let me ask you this. Who do you have lined up for us that you want to get into first? How did you want to play this out?
Oh, I'm ready to jump into some film. So
Yeah.
hopefully I don't have to restart this, and this would be embarrassing. But because sometimes it does that. Once I load it up in the share the screen, I know it's dark right
it's
now.
Ready to go, but
it
then
gets weird. Yeah,
it's all haywire.
But here we're gonna start out with one Darius Alexander from Toledo. So
holy Toledo.
Yeah, holy Toledo. This is a kid, man, at the Senior Bowl, just again jumped off the field from just the perception. I wrote a bunch of notes about him, starred him, circled him, all this stuff, because he just flashed. So what we have to remember, this kid is 6'3", 305 pounds. When he was playing at Toledo, he was more like 310, 315, and he dropped a little bit of weight at the Senior Bowl. But when you watch him move, he does not move like a kid that size. He moves much more like a smaller defensive tackle, somebody that's about 6'1", 6'2", and 290. And I mean that in a good way. There's a quickness and burst and bend that reminds you more of a smaller defensive tackle, but has the size and power of a guy his size. That is what I really like about him. So he's here playing a 3 technique, and what they're playing against the Pittsburgh Panthers here, and they're going to run a little play action to our right, defense's right, offense's left. And what you got to notice, one, he's going to play the run first, so he's going to carry this lineman down, read pass, and when he reads pass, he will eject his offensive line and go on the pass rush. This is a transition from playing the run to playing the pass that is really impressive, and you're going to see this power just jump off. And he gets in there with a pressure with Holt, his defensive end, that forces a pick. So let's slow this down to half speed. I show it full speed to show how sudden this is. So we'll run this through 3 times on each clip, I think. All right, so there he is. You're going to see this. He's going to first read run, get into the guard right underneath in his armpits. I love it. Get the leverage, control his blocker. He's going to move down the line. He's going to read pass, and then get his arm underneath that guy's arm and throw him off, while understand the balance and bend to do this and go get the quarterback. That is not normal for somebody his size. That's what I really like about Darius Alexander. And you're going to see that as a running theme here. So I'll let it play one more time in full speed. That's nasty. That is nasty.
That arm swing action.
I mean, he's got great movement skills. Okay. So here he is again. He's playing a 4-eye this time. And what's going to happen is they're going to try and block down on him, pull this guard, and come around. Okay. So understand that this is advantageous. This is a great call by the offensive coordinator of Pittsburgh. Okay. They're going to block down on him. They have a great angle block on him to get out. If you're facing a this is a 2-eye. I don't know why I said 4-eye.
No, it's a World War II cannon. What are you drawing on the screen?
Oh my goodness. Okay. Stop it, Adam. That if you're facing a 2-eye, the one thing you're going to do is you're going to want to down block with the center. That's a really advantageous block for the center. And so watch how he handles this block. He's going to just win with quickness and suddenness. Boom, inside. Now, he misses the tackle, but understand this running back is supposed to follow his pulling lineman. And so he wins so quickly, this running back panics. I forget this. I think it's Reed is the kid's name, Desmond Reed. He's going to see it and then immediately bail. That's not his hole. He's supposed to be coming through here. So I don't really blame Alexander too much here. just, again, look at how sudden he wins on this. This is an advantageous block for the center. And just bam, the violent hands and wins inside. So you love it. I mean, the movement skills, the hands, everything is what you love to see from a defensive tackle. Bam, wins inside. Disruptor. Now, want to finish it, but I'm okay with that. Again, we're going to see him here at 2I, and you're going to see him just pull a nasty swim move here on a little quarterback keeper. Okay. Again, let's run this into half speed. This
unfair. How
guard is trying to come over, and he's just going to arm over swim right in the backfield. Again, this is somebody, or excuse me, it's the center. Boom, immediately. And he's there. Stops the quarterback's feet. That's what disrupts this play.
Is that against Jake Brendel?
This is, again, 6'3", 305, 310 pounds. He doesn't look like somebody that size. You know, this is real impressive. Why so many, there are a number of people who are high on this kid. One more time. Boom. Into the backfield. Stops the quarterback's feet. Disruptor. Okay, so now we're going to see him again. This is going to be a great run stuff here. Again, wins with this shows the quickness and the power. Okay, he's going to first swim move inside. So this is, again, why I think he fits the 49ers so well. We are a one-gap defensive tackle, penetrating one gap, attacking one gap defense. So he's going to get into his gap. They're running a little exchange here. So he's got to exchange inside. The linebacker's going to come outside. So he's going to win inside quick and then control the center. Again, it's not about just blowing past every blocker. It's attacking your gap and holding down your gap. So he's going to then control his blocker and anchor and be disruptive in the backfield. So here we go. Wins, nasty arm move inside. The guy's got an angle on him. I mean, he's got leverage here, but look at him drive this center back and still hold this play up and then disengage and make the tackle while being blocked. Like, that is unusual power and strength that go with this quickness. So one more time, half speed. There it is. Boom. And he gets it. Anchors. Oh my gosh. Love it so much. So much to like from this kid.
So question real quick, Johnny.
Yeah.
What round do you think he's projected to go?
I think a lot of people have him going in the second round.
Okay.
I don't see him making it past the second round.
But definitely still not first. Not the end of the first round.
The question about first round is that he doesn't have a lot of tape against really good teams. And the production isn't off the charts like a Mike Green. So that's what we're seeing here.
That's fair.
And then here we're going to see him on a pass rush. So we'll run it first full speed again. Now he's working the other side. So you can see, okay, he can work both sides. Oh my gosh. The hand fighting, the physical tools. I love this so much. So first thing, notice the violence in the hands. So he's going to, bam, he's going to get in here. The long arms, he's into the guard before the guard's into him. So he get control, and he's going to use that. And then watch, it's a little hard to see, but watch his left hand. Okay, we can see it here. He's got his hand on there. The hand fighting skills. We see this from Nick Bosa all the time. Can keep the other guy's hands off of you. So he's got the guard's left hand off of him, has got leverage inside, so the guard's right hand can't be on him. He has won this matchup. That guy cannot block him. And now let's see the transition from this to him arm under, and then the bend around the corner. Okay, so there's the arm under, and look at this bend from a 300+ pound, 6'3" defensive tackle. This is what you see from defensive ends. Okay. That kind of bend around the corner. That is wild. This is top end talent. When we say this defensive class is deep, this is what we're talking about. The bend, oh my gosh, and forces a pick. Okay, the quarterback got it away, but it didn't work out well for him. Let's watch it one more time. Oh, man, that's awesome. This kid. All right, now we're going to see him again back here as a 3 technique. They're going to run a little inside zone here and watch him read this. He's going to do the same thing, get his blocker, occupy his blocker. He's not going to look to disengage immediately. He's going to read because he understands this is his own run. So this running back can go either way. So he's going to read, wait for the running back to commit, and then he's going to disengage and go make the tackle. So there we see, oh my gosh, the power. Let's slow this down. I posted a bunch of these clips on my X, so people may see these as repeats, but they're so good. So again, the leverage, wide base, good hips, anchors against a drive block. Somebody who's trying to drive him off the ball. He's going to peek. He's peeking to the running back over his shoulder. Okay. Peeks. Once he sees the running back commit, now he's going to yank this guy out of the way and go make the tackle.
Yeah. Like I'm done playing patty cake with you.
Well, it's you wait till the running back commits, then you disengage. So you don't disengage until the running back commits. So there it is. All right, now I know where he's going, and I, with violence, dismiss my blocker. So, and then we're gonna end this up. This is a straight pass rush situation. Watch this bull rush. So we've shown the hand fighting, the bend, the quickness, all of that. Now, can he just bull rush a guy? And that is the cherry on the top.
Yes, is the answer. Yes. The answer is, oh my gosh. When the quarterback's legs go straight up in the air.
Yeah.
Watch the quarterback's legs.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's what we see from Darius Alexander. I love this kid as a prospect. I think, I think of a taller and even a little bit more powerful DJ Jones. Like, that's what I really, really think about here. This is a kid that, again, probably a second rounder that's going to be there. That I love this. You get this kid and then go get Jamari Caldwell like in the late 3rd. Oh my gosh. Like, again, so I mean, here's what I look at. How much different is this team? You get Shamar Stewart in the 1st. You get Darius Alexander in the 2nd. You get Jamar Caldwell in the 3rd. You maybe go get a Femi if he's still there in the early 3rd. You have a bunch of picks. You can go get a Jeffrey Bassa, who I think is going to be great. You can get an Andrew Makuba, maybe a Billy Bowman Jr. I think Terrence Ferguson as a tight end is going to be there. Like, man, you've rebuilt this entire defense, and I love these picks. You guys, I've shown the Jamar Caldwell on here. I've shown Darius Alexander now. I've shown Mike Green. I've shown Shamar Stewart. I've shown how these guys are there. Everybody's saying you have to take Mike Nolan or Walter Nolan. I said Mike Nolan. 49ers stuff coming back there. But everybody says you have to take Walter Nolan at 11. No, you don't. There are tons of great defensive tackles in this class. There really are. I mean, we're not even talking about Derek Harmon there at Oregon, Aeneas Peebles, a number of other guys. Like, I think, I think with this defensive line class, I think those 3 guys, pair them with a Nick Bosa, that is a formidable defensive line for the next 4 years. That's what I love. So, anyways, I'm getting excited.
Yeah, no, and I love to see it. I wanted to ask you, I was curious about Shamar Stewart too, and Callie says he's not big on Shamar Stewart. Is there anything that you see as like, not as high, or do you disagree?
Well, on Monday, we'll probably get back to some more Shamar Stewart film. I know I showed a little bit several weeks ago, but not everybody may have caught that, there's different things. So I'm getting back into the Shamar Stewart film. I just think he, I mean, I have a clip here we can get to, but I really want to get to Femi. I just need to make sure I can find the clip here.
Yeah,
there it is.
While you're doing that, I got it.
We're good. But you can remind people. But
anyways,
I just think Shamar Stewart has like the traits of being such a top end edge player that is truly rare. And the prospect of putting that, and he doesn't have the question marks that Mike Green does. Now, again, we talked about this Monday. If Mike Green checks out, that's your guy. Like, that is your guy. But he has to check. You have to be 100% certain that the character and off fields are fine. So Mike Nolan's anchor is way too heavy because he was dragging down the 49ers for years.
No, a zinger. I told you we had more zingers coming. Reminder to find people in Niners gear and show them your phone. Make sure that you have not only hit subscribe, but the notification bell, because sometimes we go on at weird times. Johnny will do a video and it won't come out the same exact time every time. So hit the notification bell. Also want to let you know real quick, we are 100 subscribers away from 20,000.
No way. Are y'all kidding me? Y'all kidding me?
Nation.
It took me
I'm not
6 years to get to 20,000 subscribers. 6 years. Y'all are just like,
well, there's more idiots out there.
In.
Yeah, but see, these are intelligent people with the faithful. It's a bunch of idiots at Sports Idiot Nation, and we love it. Again, if you have not checked out the episode, it is episode number 15. We are on episode like 72 now on Sports Idiot Nation. But Johnny, I ran into some people this weekend and they were talking about that episode, Johnny, and I'm going to make your head get big, but they truly loved you. They're like, man, that guy was really great. And it made the 49ers that I didn't really pay attention to. And they loved the key point that you said, the Cowboys were good for like 2.5 years in the 90s. That doesn't give them the right to say they were a team of the decade of the 90s when they were trash the later half, which is not brought up very often at all. So this channel can have some Cowboys hate. We love to hate the Cowboys, so I'll mention that. But they mentioned it.
Cowboys.
So it was cool to see. But episode 15 of Sports Idiot Nation, if you have not checked that out, you have to check it out. All right. So Femi.
Yes. So let's get into this. We're going to talk about Femi Oladejo. Somebody that you guys are probably tired of me talking about.
No way.
But you know what? Oh, well, I really love this kid. I think if we were to say my honest, true, biggest draft crush of this year is Femi. And I think it's coming around with a lot of people. Now, the hype may not equal what you see, but, you know, of what actually comes out. But again, if you go watch Brad's interview, one thing he was asked about is, are you going to have a top 30 visit with the 49ers? And he said, no, probably not. That's not really on my schedule right now. But then went to clarify that so we have to understand, his defensive coordinator, his coach here at UCLA was Ken Norton Jr. Okay. So talking about the dynasty 49ers on Sports Idiot Nation, Ken Norton Jr. Man, I loved Ken Norton as a linebacker.
Man.
We know that Ken Norton went and coached in Seattle. And you know who he coached in Seattle? KJ Wright. You know who's a linebackers and edge coach for the 49ers right now? KJ Wright. So Femi straight up said that when it was time for the draft and heading towards the Senior Bowl, that Ken gave KJ Wright Femi's number, and KJ Wright had reached out to him before then. He's like, yeah, pretty much through Ken and having talked with KJ a bunch of times. He had multiple meetings with the 49ers at the Senior Bowl, that he's like, I think they pretty much know who I am at this point. You know, that there's not really a whole lot more for them to find out. So awesome. There's no need for them to use a top 30 visit on him. That doesn't mean they don't have the interest in him of a top 30, but through their contacts and everything, they don't need a 30 visit. So what we're going to see now, one thing I love about him, he was a former off-ball linebacker. So we have to understand that some of the production, especially in the early part of the season, was not great. He was literally in August of last year was the first time he had ever started a game and played a game as an edge player in his life. So the learning curve was huge this year. People talk about his pass rush win rate was really terrible. A lot of that comes from the first half of the season. He was very much learning how to play the position. That's why when you see some of these clips, understand that this is a kid who, by this point, this was the 11th game that he had ever played at edge. So when you see these potentials, it just makes you pop. And this kid, from the moment he walked out on the field, screamed. The body type, everything just screams top end edge rusher. He looks like a Khalil Mack out there. And
Now,
the body
Johnny,
type, the way he moves.
real quick, what I want people to remember is we talked about Darius Alexander and Toledo playing the Corpus Christi School of Nuns. And I want people to see in the background that says Penn State. Okay.
Yes.
That's what that says. And just remember these types of players that Femi is going against.
Okay. And so I didn't have time. I was running out of time this morning. I was going to throw in a clip. So this player, he's their tight end. He's a junior. I forget his name, from Penn State. He's a blocking tight end. When you look him up, he is a blocking tight end. And what I noticed him for is this other guy playing the other edge, 44. It was the series before this. This dude at tight end completely dominated this guy. Okay. He drove him into the end zone, pancaked him, and flipped over him. It looked like George Kittle blocking somebody. Okay. So understand, he's a blocking tight end. That's his specialty, and he can be dominant out this. Now watch this matchup. They're going to try and run this off of the right end with the running back, and he's going to go try and block Femi. So watch this, the way that Femi's going to set this edge on him. And you don't see that kind of thing. Now, the guy's still fighting after the play, but watch this. This is the traits that you go, okay, I really like this. So first thing he's going to do, he's going to step up. He's going to read run. He's going to engage. We're going to see that. No hesitation. Boom. Low pad level. Wide base. Love it. His long arms. This stood out so much, especially when I was standing across from the kid. Dude has long arms. Gets into the tight end, and watch him. The power he has. This kid is ripped. Bench press the tight end. Boom! Right off of him. He controls the edge at this point. So he is accordion this edge. They want this play to be out here. That's where they want this run to go, because this running back's got to be able to make a read to go outside or inside. And he has compressed the edge. Let me do this in white. So he's compressed the edge. He's controlled the edge. And now his linebacker, and now this kid is a linebacker that a lot of people are really high on, Schwessinger. He's able to come and fill off the backside. But this all happens because you set the edge in the run game. You can see the running back. He wanted to go outside, but now, boom, has to stop his feet, because you get such a great, strong edge set. Running back he's got to stop his feet. Boom. And once you get a running back to stop his feet, play's done. Okay, that all happens because this guy, Femi, sets the edge. Phenomenal edge setter. That shows up over and over again on the tape. Nobody from Penn State could dislodge him from the edge. So the biggest questions are, can you get top-end pass rush? Okay, so here he is. We're going to see him on a pass rush. He's going to first have to read this. So the first step isn't just a burst. This wasn't a pass rush down. So you're going to see him read step, but then when he chooses to go, you're going to see that burst, you're going to see a cross chop, and you're going to see a bend around the edge. So we'll run this at full speed so you can see it. See it in the quickness. Boom. There it is. Bend and turn the corner and go get the quarterback. All right. Let's go to half speed, because that happens quick. We're going to watch this. Okay, here we're going to see read. So he's not certain. He's reading the tackle, sees a pass set. So that first step isn't clear. It's not, I'm going to go on a pass rush. But then once he decides this is a pass rush, watch the burst. Boom, there it is. Boom, around the edge. Nasty cross chop. Gets the arm out of the way. Foot's going to come around, and then this bend. That's what you love to see from an edge player. Boom, there it is. And look at that bend around the edge. All the way. That is a not normal trait. That is the top end kind of trait. They make edge players do this drill at the combine. They make them do it at the Senior Bowl. They make them do it at the Shrine Bowl, because they make them do it at pro days. They want to see, can a guy bend like that around the corner, because that is not a normal trait for human beings. And he can, and goes and gets it and forces the incomplete pass. So again, when I say his pass rush win rate wasn't as good at the beginning of the year, it's he was still learning how to do stuff like this, nasty cross chop, that bend and burst around the corner. I love that. Let's go watch it again in full speed so you can see it in all of its glory. Here we go. Oh, I love it. I love it. Okay. So now we're going to see him again against the run. What you see is he's head up on a tackle here. Is you can see the mentality of an off-ball linebacker show up. And he talked about this. He was being interviewed by the guy right before me, and the guy asked him about playing off-ball linebacker, and he said, I still carry that mentality. So when I see it, I go get it. So they're going to try and run this as a zone run. So they're going to go. Once he sees this as a run and a gap come in here, he doesn't hesitate. He's going to go get this. There's a no hesitation. Boom. All right, let's go get it. And makes that tackle. And you can see the size and the power. Like he swallows this running back up. But it's running at half speed. So boom, sees run. The guy's trying to get him. Can just run through this block with power. Again, not normal. And he's into the backfield immediately. Boom, keeps the guy's hands up right into the backfield. And then again, look at the length, the athleticism in space, the power just to wrap up. And that kid's done. It's over. Oh, I love it. Okay. So now we're going to see him again coming off the edge. Now he's playing out. Here's a wide 9. We're going to see this burst off the edge and get that cross chop and bend around the corner again. So here it comes. Boom. Cross chop. Bend around the corner. Oh, my gosh. It's so good to see. So now he knows it's a pass rush. So he sets the tackle up. Now this is where he's got to get better at is understanding how to stack pass rush moves throughout the game. But you can see the burst off that first step is bam, bam. He's covering so much ground. He's going to get up here by his second step. That tackle's having a hard time getting out there quickly enough. And so he's going to set him up. There comes that cross chop. And again, the bend around the corner. That is not normal. Very few human beings can bend like that around the corner. Turn. I mean, it was a great throw by the quarterback. They had a little bit of a coverage breakdown. But just so great to watch. Now here, they're going to try and chip and bring a tackle over. And he's just going to split this, get into the backfield, and then run the quarterback down. So you're going to see his ability to pursue, the motor, the way he's going to go. Just fights through it. Bend around the corner. The guy's trying to get away, and he runs him down. I love it. We're going to see it one more time. See it. The power is there. And he talked with Brad about this. He said, I think I figured out now that my greatest strength is actually power. And he's been trying to be a finesse rusher all last year. And he's like, I think I really learned that now it's power. And when you stand across him, dude, you're like, yeah, duh. Cause he's just, dude's yoked, and got tree trunks for legs. And you can see it, like just that power of just runs through stuff. And so him learning how to use this power on top of that burst and that bend and the length, man, like he's got all the traits of a top end pass rusher. That's what I love about this. Like that the traits of a top end rusher is all there. The questions are, just the rawness coming out, that he's still only a 1-year player at edge, has got to learn how to use all of his tools. But man, you can see why so many of us are getting so high on this kid coming out and 2 sacks at the Senior Bowl MVP, flashed all Senior Bowl long. I'm gonna try and I'll cut it back to you for a second, Adam. I'm gonna look up some clips of Femi from the Senior Bowl. because I was still struggling getting some of them off my phone. But I think some
Yeah.
people got some great shots of him at the Senior Bowl, again, going against some great talent.
Right. And that's the thing that we mentioned is this is against, so Penn State, as we remember, made it to the college football playoff. I mean, this is against a stacked Big Ten that was really good this year. And that's what you like to see is big time players like that making those types of plays against a caliber of team. And that is why maybe the drop down, like we said, for Darius Alexander is that, man, he showed some great moves against number 61 from Pitt. And I don't know if Pitt is the same caliber as Penn State. And so that's what kind of makes you wonder based on who Toledo's played. But yeah, this is what we love to see, the breakdown of film, all the circles and X's, why the X's zig and the O's zag, all that stuff. We love it.
Yeah. Don't have a whole, I'm having a hard time finding some clips here. We may be, if I can get them all on off my phone and stuff, for next episode, we'll definitely throw those in there.
Yeah.
I mean, and again, I love the mentality. There was one rep. I gotta remember who it was. It was the I'll look it up here. It was the center from USC. That's the wrong roster. Jonah Monheim. So he went up against Jonah Monheim. It was the last day of the Senior Bowl, and they lined up. He was lined up over the center. Okay, just beat him right off the snap. They're going one-on-ones, pass rush drills. Beat him right off the snap, and the entire offensive line, they're talking trash. Oh, he went early. He was offsides, and he was literally, coming back. You could hear him from the sidelines go, "Run it back, run it back, run it back." And so they lined up again. He said, "I'm going to beat you again." And they line up. He whoops him off with the same move on the second rep. It was one of the best interactions because, again, showed you the kid has so much confidence. And he told me, he's like, "I'm humble, I'm confident, I'm both." Like he's it just, again, oozes off the field. He's an emotional leader out there. I love this kid so much. Like, again, maybe I'm getting into my bias too much because there's so much to be excited about as far as the potential. He may not work out, but just I will at this point say that would seem more unlikely than not right now. So yeah, but there we go. We got some film. I love Darius Alexander. I mean, there's so many good defensive players here. I still got to go look at like Jaw Joyner, who I really liked at the Senior Bowl. Got to look at Aeneas Peoples a little bit more. Joshua Farmer from Florida State, I think, is somebody who's done well. David Walker from Central Arkansas. I've been watching a little bit more Walter Nolan tape. We'll get into a little bit more of that. Again, the kid has huge potential. I just worry about some of the deficiencies for a first rounder, for an early first rounder.
Right.
I still got to look at Tyrion Ingram Dawkins a little bit more. The thing that's so impressive about him is he's so versatile. Dude lined up in 9 different spots against Notre Dame. Like, that's wild on the defensive line and could play all of them. Cameron Jackson, Deion Walker, we got Jared Stewart, Jared Ivey, Siobhan Jones, Kyle Kennard. Like, all these kids, I think, could be phenomenal, really good defensive linemen. So this defensive line class is really just so stacked. But and I think what's most valuable about all this is you're going to hear these names in the first 3 rounds at the draft, and you're going, okay, I understand why that team picked him. And you might get a little cantankerous if it's like a division rival, like the Seahawks, they go get Darius Alexander. You're going to go, dadgummit.
Yeah.
No, or you see the Eagles, they might get a Darius Alexander, and you go, no, they just lost Brandon Graham to retirement. Now they get Darius Alexander to have him for the next 12 years. Not fair, because that's gonna happen. Like, the Eagles are gonna get a good defensive lineman in this draft. And so that's what makes this draft so fascinating to me.
Yeah, we're definitely excited. 20 days, as you said, for the draft. We will have more film, more. Church will be in session again on Monday. Lots of good stuff from Johnny, per usual. This episode was fire, as you said in the beginning. Be sure to like and subscribe. And the big thing is the notification bell and be sure you find a favorite video. If you are one of our faithful that's usually in the chat with us, I know you have a favorite video. Mine is the couple years ago, the Brock Purdy for MVP, where he showed a couple of negative plays for Brock. It wasn't just a highlight film. Anyone can do that, but it's the setup where he messed up here. Now he steps up later and makes this play. Those type of things is the whys and hows that I love. So that's my favorite, but I know you have one as well. So show someone your phone. It was mentioned earlier, this channel is criminally under, I can't remember what someone said in the chat. We were talking about Sports Idiot Nation and Dr. C. This channel, Dr. Steve said, this channel is criminally unpopular. And yeah, we need to change that and get Johnny some more views.
So just as a sidebar here, I realized why I couldn't find the Femi clips, because I accidentally had a typo in there on X. So we're gonna show this again.
Got it?
This wasn't just college, just the college season film. This is at the Senior Bowl. So look at this, the burst and the bend around the corner. It's there. Like, yeah. The kid has so much. There's so much potential here. I'm gonna find a few more of these. Hey, I searched it and one of my clips showed up. Look at that. But yeah. Anyways, sorry not to interrupt you, Adam. I just saw that. And I was like, I have to share this.
I was trying to give you all the love and make sure the faithful are doing the same. So make sure that you show people the JDFA YouTube channel, over 25,000 subscribers. But yes, it should be double based on the value that he brings. I just come alongside and have fun with it, but this is so cool. What else you got here?
So this is the interaction that I was talking about before. He was going against Jonah Monheim. Okay, so you're going to see it here. He wins. And they're saying he was offside. He was offside. So he says, run it back. Run it back. And there's KJ. KJ Wright's right there. Okay, so he's going to say, run it back. We're going to do this. So there's Femi.
Some Migos in the background.
And he still wins. Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Then again, that's supposed to be one of the higher rated centers coming out of college right now, Jonah Monheim. So love it.
Not Jake Brendel. Okay. So again, make sure you hit the notification bell so you can be notified when new content drops. And so in the meantime and in between time, stay safe, stay healthy, and as always, subscribe to Sports Idiot Nation and go Niners.